Like anybody who does not who looks at children as some type of scourge or have like a negative connotation or a negative outlook on children is a person you should avoid. That person is dangerous. That person is evil. That person is destructive. It's one thing to just not want kids. Like I'm not talking about that. Like if you just don't want kids, fine. But to like actively want to demonize and ruin their lives under the guise of care and concern and love and understanding and empathy and all that kind of shit, that's evil. It's not okay. Fine up right now. You should too. Let's get to it. Uh-huh. I don't really understand why. Like, how do I put this? Like, okay, so I've been eating dinner a lot lately. Like coming home, cooking, eating dinner, and the difference in my morale, my ability to get out the bed in the morning, my ability to not constantly snack on junk food and bullshit throughout the day, like just my overall just energy level and vigor is not comparable to how it was prior. Like I'm not on drugs. I'm getting 6, 7 hours of sleep every night. And it made me think, like, if this is the kind of difference that something as simple as coming home to a meal can have on a nigga's life, why are there some women out there who view this simple yet very, very powerful task of preparing food for a nigga who just done went out and worked all day? Why is that such a unreasonable request? Like it really got me thinking. Like women say shit like, all he want me to do is cook and clean, and what about me? What if I want to go to work and blah 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 and all that shit? And it's like I don't. I think the attitude toward that's a very pessimistic way to look at sharing your life with somebody. Like, why should I want to do things that would help my man, that would make him help him achieve his greatness? I don't get it. Women always talk about this partner shit. They always talk about, oh, let's build and we can build this and we can be a power couple, but don't want to play their role. Like being in a relationship, or at least when you're dating, any kind of relationship, anytime there's a group of two or more people, there has to be a leader and there has to be followers. So just because you're you're following, that's following is not a bad thing. Like being a follower or subjecting yourself to someone else's whim whom you deem has the authority and knowledge to guide you correctly. That's not a bad thing. Just look at any movie where there's a bad guy and a good guy. Like let me just think one. Okay. Let's say Lion King. So you look at the Lion King and imagine the Lion King without Scar. It would just be lions running around in the fucking Serengeti. Uh, just running the fucking jungle. That's all they do. Without Scar, that movie would suck. Or without some type of protagonist. Scar's playing his role in the movie. He's a protagonist. Without him killing Mufasa, like Simba doesn't really have, there's no reason for you to overly care about Simba's story. You know, he set Mufasa up and he made sure Simba came and saw his dead dad. He played his role. Now, granted, like if you could probably pick your role, you don't want to be the fucking evil character who dies in the end, who ultimately falls at the hands of what you could consider like the good guys, like the force of good. But without him, then the force of good has nothing to, there's no story to tell. So like this is the role that when you sign up to be a wife, when you marry a man, and you are in charge of like household duties, holding down the house. Because it's not like you couldn't go out and work, and it's not like a man couldn't hold down the house. Like we clearly can do both. But it's just about playing your role. Like if you go to work and you're angry because you're not a supervisor and you or some shit like that, you're angry because you're not where you should be, and you fuck shit up. That fucks up everything beneath you, and like you not playing your role fucks up the whole operation. So regardless of whether you view that as important or not, your role is important. Just like the bad guy is an important role to play in a movie. There need to be bad guys. There need to be wives who want to come and cook and clean and like take care of the young, wash clothes, organize shit, and make sure when her husband has been working all day to provide. So she doesn't have to go out and be an independent boss, bad bitch or whatever. Like all that shit. Like you don't have to do that. You could. Because you're a human being, and society has now opened itself up to get women in the workforce and not just be housewives, and that's cool, fine. I'm never against a woman wanting to go work. Shit, if you want to go trade your time for money, fuck it, go ahead. But once you enter into a marriage, you're saying you don't want those things. You're saying that I'm going to play the role that will give my family the best chance to flourish and survive. Even if it's not what I want to do. Who the fuck really, I mean, cleaning is therapeutic. I don't necessarily mind like cleaning and cooking and shit. Like I want to eat and I want to be in a clean environment. And the more I've been like homeless living on the street and been in dirty ass fucking outright filthy environments, I feel like I wake up with ticks on my ass cheek or some shit like that. I'm like being in those environments covered in flies and shit, debris, trash, rubbish everywhere. That makes you appreciate something clean. Starving, eating fucking Pop-Tarts and cookies all goddamn day and drinking pop and shit will make you value cooked dinner. So I don't get it. It does not compute to me why these things are considered or compared to slavery. Are you fucking mad? Like, seriously. Like, the difference that shit makes in my life, if I had a woman that would just cook for me and have hot, warm food prepared with love and time and effort, just ready for me, I would be, man, I would pay somebody for that. Like, if I couldn't do it myself, I would absolutely pay somebody to do that because it's integral. Playing your role is more important than being a superstar. I've said this before. Like, if you want to be a superstar, you'll shine. You'll shine amongst us. But it's like you're a team of your own. Like, we're supporting cast members that are probably reluctant. Like, unless you know how to handle the spotlight. If you want to be a role player, oh wow. Get into that later. If you want to be a role player, then you have to play your role, because the role you play, while you might not like it, while it might not be the most glamorous role, is important. There is no three-wheeled car. There is no fucking flat tire bicycle. You know? You need all the moving parts. There's no fucking screenless cell phone. You need all the parts. You got the cell phone, but no buttons. You got a motorcycle, no handlebars. Like, you need all those parts. Imagine being the handlebars of a motorcycle saying, man, all I do is get gripped all day. All they just caress and massage me. And when they just drive recklessly, they grab me tight. And when the car crashes, I'm the first thing that runs into something. This fucking sucks. And you'd be like, damn, you're a negative ass fucking pair of handlebars. Don't you understand? Like, you determine the direction that this motherfucker goes. You keep this thing stable. Without you, this bitch wouldn't steer. This motherfucker would just be uncontrolled torque. So why are you looking at it like, oh, all I do is get massaged all day? When it's like, the fact that you get to get massaged all day means that a motorcycle can operate and it can be used. And somebody can get the enjoyment, the pleasure, the destination, the transportation, whatever they want out of it. You are just as important as the kickstart, as the fucking throttle, as the gas gauge. All of that. It's all important. So to hear women talk about relationships and family so bad, it signals to me that evil is winning the battle within you. Like, the demons are taking over. And they're manifesting in this way that wants to destroy family, destroy the things that build civilizations, destroy the things that are great. And as an adult, you got every right to not have kids. Like, you are not bound. There's no obligation to force you to have children. But if you think about that, think about how many times that happened in order for you to get here. Think of how somebody had to have children. Somebody had the family whose family extended, 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 and it got to you. You're not obligated to feel any duty to maintain that continuity, but you should at least acknowledge it. And if you don't want to do it and you decline it, okay. But you should at least acknowledge the fact that it's happened so many times down a long line of history in order for you to be here. And that's a magnificent and extraordinary and wonderful thing that you should cherish and value. It provides tremendous purpose and meaning in one's life. And with me not really having much of a family in this day and age, like, I understand it. I'm a very lonely individual, and I accept that for now, because that has given me an opportunity to get comfortable with myself, to understand how to use my solitude efficiently and beneficially. And it's made me a stronger person. I've done some stupid things out of loneliness before. Who hasn't? We need each other. And that's ultimately why I'm talking about playing your role. You don't have to like your role. You won't always choose your role. But if you play your role along with everybody else, the end result is always greater than something that you can achieve on your own. Like, you at your A+++ game cannot achieve the sum of the combined effort of you and other people all collectively playing their role harmoniously. You just can't. It's sheer numbers. You just can't. So, ladies, while you're young and you're beautiful, you should really think heavily on how the next, like, if you're 18 and 20, how the next, after 10 years from now, the decisions you make now are going to basically narrow down the paths you can take later on. Like, your path in your 30s is an extension of a path in your 20s and in your teenage years. So you need to value that shit. And you need to not look at things that have a risk to end in disaster. Like, that could always happen. But if it could end in disaster, that means if it goes good, it's going to, you will be rewarded handsomely That's how that works. It's yin and yang. If the risk is disaster, then the upside is fucking paradise. I understand there's dog ass men out there. There's gold digging bitches out there too. But a lesson I learned on cynicism living in Las Vegas is that while most of the people out there are pieces of shit, broken individuals who have no hope or desire to recover and achieve any degree of greatness that they might have once had. You know, they're broken individuals. But as long as you never give up, it's a way. Like, it's all in your attitude. And if you listen, I might have lost my train of thought there. I'm blown as hell. But I'm generally what I'm definitely trying to say here is don't count yourself out. Oh yeah, I was talking about a healthy dose of cynicism. Yeah. So like most of them people are broken people, pieces of shit, but I know everybody's not like that. Everybody is not a piece of shit. Everybody's not out to get me. Everybody's not seeing me as somebody to take advantage of. Some people see me for who I am. They see the intelligent, experienced, just caring, considerate, thoughtful, critical thinking. They see all that in me. And I understand that on the path to finding those people, you are bound to step in some shit. Accept it. Accept it. Don't blame all men. Like, I can't be blamed for the bad decision making or the improper timing and what the fuck you did. Like, what's that got to do with me? Yeah, you use that shit to help guide you going forward, but at the same time, like, I'm not him. And even if I do some things he does, that doesn't make me him. And me personally, I'll always be better than him. Like, I'm on a mission to become unforgettable. Like, I don't want to be discardable to women. Like, it's not even that I'm some type of simp. But real men, they have a power. They command this respect and cooperation of women. And that's damn near what you need. I see that now. Like, all of the old nice guy shit. If you want to finish last, finish last. But I ain't on no finish last energy, bro. Ladies, don't give up on men. And most importantly, don't give up on yourself. Shit. Let's move forward. What we got here? Okay, courtesy of the net worth of the hell? Woke workplace policies backfire. Women's tech conference became gender labeled playground after invasion of men claiming trans. Now, I'm pretty sure I talked about this before or I've seen something about it. But this is basically where there's this tech event for women and they were welcoming everybody. They were welcoming all the what you call them, just straight women, gay women, transgender women, non-binary, all of that shit. All of them can come, but it's women only. I cannot stress enough that it's women only. So what happens? A bunch of men show up and claim they're non-binary, and they take a lot of these jobs from these women because when you break it down, that's a pretty shrewd idea. Like, oh, well, if non-binary people can come, I'm non-binary because like all you gotta do is say it to be it. Like you don't have to actually demonstrate any proof that you're that. Just say you are, and you are. So that's what they did, and they got rewarded for it. And now women are pissed. So let's read. Um, Woke workplace policies backfired. Women's tech conference became gender label playground after invasion of men claiming trans. Yeah, that's that up there. A recent tech conference aimed at providing a platform for women and non-binary individuals in the field found itself embroiled in controversy and chaos as male attendees unexpectedly overran it. Here's what happened. Women in Tech. The Grace Hopper celebration organized by Anita B. has been a pivotal event for women and non-binary individuals in the tech industry. However, this year's conference held in Orlando, Florida. Yeah, there we go. Let's do that. I don't know what I was thinking. All right, hold on. Here we go. Let's get that right. So yeah, however, this year's conference held in Orlando, Florida, took an unexpected turn when a substantial number of I don't use this prefix. So we're just gonna take this whole word out, like this whole that's gonna go. We're just gonna use this one. So yeah, unexpected turn when a substantial number of men attended. The organizers of GHC, which welcomes all genders but encourages male attendees to participate as allies, were caught off guard by the massive influx of male attendees. So why would you be caught off guard by something like this? Like you don't. This is the. I've said this in a couple episodes ago. This is the game you created. You guys made this shit. You said all you need to do to be a non-binary is feel like a non-binary. So these men felt like non-binaries, like invaded by men. Like, hold on, wait. You say invaded by men? So wait, if these men came here and told you that they were non-binary, then they're not men. Because if you're not male or female, if you're non-binary, that means you don't identify as male nor female. So if all these men showed up and said they're non-binary, then they're not men. So you didn't get invaded by men. You got the attendance you advertised. You said a pivotal event for women and non-binary individuals in the tech industry. So if these men show up and say that they're non-binary, then what the fuck? They're not men. I've never heard of a non-binary man. So this should say really not invaded by men, but intended by non-binary people. Fucking stupid. While men were welcome to support and learn from women and non-binary individuals, the number of men in attendance at this year's conference created a significant disruption. Avni Barman, the founder and CEO of Generation She, described the stark contrast between this year's event and previous editions. She expressed her shock at the sudden turn of events, with hundreds of female attendees approaching her in distress. Men claiming non-binary identities. Now, see, they're not. This isn't a claim. Like I said, this is the game. We're just playing by your rules. We all know that if you identify as a man, if you identify as a woman, if you identify as non-binary, if you identify as the kitchen sink, all you have to do is say it. Just say it and it is. These are your rules. I cannot stress that enough. So to say a bunch of female attendees were approaching her in distress, like what even is a female? What even is that? So we only know they're female because they identify as female, but we're gonna ignore the men who identify as non-binary. It's just not fair. This is not fair. Like I'm getting frustrated. Not really, but I'm getting frustrated because it's a double standard here. And I only like double standards when I'm in a situation that calls for two standards. It's the only time I like double standards. Sometimes triple standards, but it's not fair, man. It's really frustrating. I actually feel bad for those non-binary individuals who are discriminated against by this women's conference because women think they're better than non-binaries. And if that's not racist, then I probably don't know what racism is, and I don't know what anything is today. Men claiming non-binary identities. One of the main points of contention was that many male attendees claimed they were non-binary during registration, apparently to gain access to the event. This deception sparked outrage among the conference's intended participants, leading to concerns about the fairness of the registration process. The situation reached a point where some men attending the conference were seen wearing lanyards with he/him pronouns despite prior registrations suggesting otherwise. Now, going with the assumption that this is all stupid, we know and agree this is all stupid, this is all dumb. I really don't like how they discriminate against these non-binary men. Like, I'm sure there were other non-binary people there who did not have their binary status questioned. But now that a bunch of men show up and say they're non-binary, now they're doing something wrong. Well, we could solve all this if you could just tell us what a woman is. Just tell us what a woman is. Tell us what that is without using that word. Tell us what it is so we'll know. And that way there won't be any confusion when people show up and play by your rules, and you don't like it. That's on you, motherfucker. That's on you. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, but ultimately everybody loses. Men taking women's spaces. Oh, God, let's hear this. Oh, we got a video? Why gender equality is crucial in the fight for sustainability. Well, guess what we're going to watch? Guess what we're going to watch? If it will allow.
If we're talking about the role of women in the SDG framework and just in terms of sustainability as a whole, I think it's a very crucial step in attaining sustainability on all levels. Just talking about how sustainability, climate change, that link, they're not two separate issues. Gender equality and climate crisis, for example, are intrinsically linked. And women are very...
What did she just say? Let's rewind that back.
Sustainability, climate change, that link, they're not two separate issues. Gender equality and climate crisis, for example, are intrinsically linked.
Gender equality and climate change. One more time, please. One more time.
After all, the decision-making process, or if we're talking about the
Fucking
role of
back.
women in the SDG framework and just in terms of sustainability as a whole, I think it's a very crucial step in attaining sustainability on all levels. Just talking about how sustainability, climate change, that link, they're not two separate issues. Gender equality and climate crisis, for example, are intrinsically linked.
Gender equality and climate change are intrinsically linked. What does that mean? I know I should just let the clip play, but just how radical it was to hear that shit. Like, I'm just trying to think just without hearing what she's saying. Like, if she says gender equality and climate change are intrinsically linked, like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Like, if I say how are apples and oranges linked, you say, oh, they're fruits. Nigga, how is football and basketball linked? Oh, they're sports. Yeah, intrinsically linked. They are subcategories of the same main category. Gender equality and climate change. Make it make sense, please. Make it make sense.
About how sustainability, climate change, that link, they're not two separate issues. Gender equality and climate crisis, for example, are intrinsically linked. And women are very much a vital part of the decision-making process, or they should be, because we are half the population after all. We contribute, like you said.
That old phrase, women hold up half the sky.
It's not the
Yeah, but what is that? What is the thing that's holding up half the sky?
Case at the moment, unfortunately, especially here in Asia Pacific.
Well, I mean, in Asia Pacific, the question is particularly interesting because of the gender dynamics that are at play here. Tell me a little bit about your role for the UN in this and what you're trying to achieve. It's almost 3 years you've been in this role, right?
Yes, that is.
Unfortunately, it's been COVID years, so perhaps
exactly.
efficacy has been difficult to achieve. But tell me about your role.
So my role as Goodwill Ambassador for UN Women is to highlight and advocate the gender equality issues that are in the region. As you know, UN Women is the dedicated arm of United Nations that is advancing gender equality, advocating for women's rights, needs, aspirations, especially in regions that women and girls are facing challenges. There's a tendency, I think, for people to say, oh, gender equality, I mean, we've got that covered, no problem. Unfortunately, it's not the case for many countries, especially here and also in rural areas or communities that are affected by poverty, marginalized communities. And so my role is to kind of bring awareness, bring light, come on platforms such as this, and hopefully be able to kind of bridge the gap between the different sectors, right? So government, local communities, media, and hopefully find a solution that will just enable women and girls to have better access to information, opportunities, all the things that should
You're
be.
right. There does seem to be this situation where after the Me Too movement and so much publicity given to gender roles, there seems to be this a little bit of a sense that, yeah, well, okay, we've got that under control now. Things are happening, it's all good.
Yep.
But is it? I mean, tell me about your experiences in Thailand and elsewhere about how much progress is really being made.
First of all, gender equality encompasses a lot of issues, many different sectors, right? For example, in Thailand, if we look at women in business, we are actually doing very well. We are leading the world average, I think, having women CEOs. If you look at that section.
So didn't she just say they was facing challenges? Women are facing challenges, but you said that women are leading as CEOs in Thailand?
If we look at women in business, we are actually doing very well. We are leading the world average, I think, having women CEOs. If you look at that section, then yeah, we're doing quite well. However, representation, decision makers from community level all the way up to government, we're still way behind. We don't have a lot of female representation in government. We, in terms of gender-based violence, which is the kind of focus which I am committed to mostly, we still have a big problem. We have high levels of sexual assault, domestic violence.
What is high?
We saw that rise drastically during COVID. We call it the shadow pandemic, in which instances of domestic abuse rose exponentially due to hardships, economic stresses, women being forced to shelter in place with their abusive partners.
That's an important distinction, actually. I mean, we talk a lot about sustainability and women's role in an economic context, but in a general social context, there's a lot of talk about it too. But tell me a little bit more about the work that you've done in that regard, and this shadow pandemic thing.
Yes.
So because people were forced to stay at home so often, the violence was growing as a consequence, was it?
Yeah, I mean, we see that even economic hardships brought on by climate change, for example, agricultural yield goes down, families are forced into more stress, more strain. Yes, stress then leads to increase of domestic violence, but there's also other implications. Families that have limited resources, for example, when they're faced with a choice of either sending a boy or a girl to school, chances are the boy's going to get the education, the girl's going to have to stay home and help her mother with the household chores.
So how do you fight this?
What?
Tell me about the obstacles.
What? Hold on. What? No. See, it's not even as many families like, oh, if it's the chance of the boy or the girl go to school. Like, women are actually doing better in schools, in academia. Women are actually entering into male-dominated fields. Since we just gonna gloss over things with like real vague terminology, but you can look it up. Like, it's more like female, like dentists. It's more female teachers. It's a lot of females entering positions that was once male-dominated. A lot of men ain't even really working as much. I would almost be willing to bet that there's more unemployed men now than it is unemployed women. So what the fuck is she talking about? What is she talking about, man? Like, I'm high. Let me hear that shit again.
Chances are the boy's going to get the education.
The boy's going to get the education. What?
And help her mother with the household chores.
And help her mother with the household chores? Women look at that type of shit as slavery. What the fuck is she talking about? Household chores? Women don't want to stay home and cook and clean and shit. Those women are a lot harder to find. They call them trad wives now. Women don't want to do that. Women want to go out and have fun and discover themselves and, drink rosé on a yacht. That's what they want to do. So what is she talking about? Like, whatever instance she's talking about is a negligible percentage of any kind of demand. Oh, well, they're just going to send the boy to school and then the girl's going to have to stay home and help with the chores. Like, what? So would that mean the boy does no chores and the boy just goes to school and then what, comes back and takes care of the family? Like, where's the dad? What is she talking about? She's shitting, man. Bro, retarded.
So how do you fight this? I mean, tell me about the obstacles that you're facing and changing.
Using a multifaceted approach, we have to talk to government and talk to policymakers to see how we can ensure that girls are given a better chance, a better opportunity. We work with communities We work with educators. That's another big focus that I really want to highlight, is that we need to be teaching our boys and our girls the same things, how human rights needs to be educated from a very early age. How else? Businesses definitely can
trans rights
play a huge role.
Is that what you're saying?
Where's the biggest resistance that you face?
I think the biggest resistance is just mindset. This idea that it's
entrenched cultural values,
especially here in Asia Pacific, where we're dealing with cultural norms, harmful gender stereotypes that have gone at the beginning of time.
Okay, so real quick, I peeped something. She's in Pacific Asia, whatever the fuck they talking about. So that's not really, she's talking about sending the boy off to school. Okay, maybe that happens. But when I'm speaking, I'm equivocating that to American culture. That's what I'm doing. So I just peeped that, like, this isn't in America. It's just on CNBC. But they said why gender equality is crucial in the fight for sustainability. But they're in a different part of the world. I don't think our culture is similar enough for, to talk about their problem like it's our problem, because like we definitely got some. I don't think most of the world has our problems. Like American problems are not, that's an American thing. Oh shit.
It's deeply entrenched in the culture. And so for me, as an influencer, as well as someone who's trying to advocate in this space of just bringing awareness to the fact that girls have a right to education or to live a life with dignity, how do we do that in a way that takes into account these cultural sensitivities, right? So the language and the strategies that may work in the West are not going to go over well here. I mean, I experienced that firsthand with my campaign, Don't Tell Me How to Dress. This was a big pushback against this idea that it's because of what a woman is wearing that is a cause of her sexual assault. I wanted to address that perhaps it's not what she's wearing. It's the power imbalances, this idea that a man has control over his woman, or just a random woman walking down the street. And so I was careful not to come out as this firebrand feminist, although inside I was burning. But do it in a way that was hopefully more engaging and more inviting for everybody to let's really look at this issue of sexual assault, of just gender-based violence in general, which then led me to write a children's book, because I realized, well, then we don't have these tools to teach our kids. So it's many, many faceted approach.
Yeah, many faceted, and it's just not on board with it, young lady. Not on board with it. But they say these woke policies backfire. Like these are the type of women that want to espouse these ideas, like with this whole non-binary shit, and then when you put it into practice, they want to say, "Oh, well, we need more this and we need more that, and we need to teach our children. We need to start at the early age." It's like, man. So we put this video in here. I'm not gonna really read the rest of this article. It just says, "Unsafe and unheard, feeling unsafe physically and psychology, and what the wokies want." Come to the conclusion to get a majority of women to stand up against the trans movement. Men need to celebrate when trans women triumph over actual women. When actual women see the men are happy, they will move quickly to correct the situation. How do these women know that they are men and they are not non-binary? That's pretty much what I'm saying. Like, the irony of a women's tech conference turning into a non-binary playground. Who knew gender labels were such a virtual accessory? Like, yeah, pretty much. It's like once. No, shut up. Once you guys made these rules. I can't stress that enough. I'll say it 100 times if I have to. The only reason it happened is because you said it could. You said it could. This is your fault. Accept it and shut the hell up. Shut up. Did you not think they were going to backfire? Duh. Your game, your rules. Really couldn't care less about, you suffering the unintended consequence in the arena that you built, dumbass. All right, let's keep it moving. This says, courtesy of American Insider, United States adopt Detransitioner Bill of Rights. Now I'm not quite sure what that means. What the fuck is oh, okay, that's what happened. What is a Detransitioner Bill of Rights? What is that? Guess we're gonna find out, eh? So real quick, if anyone watching it doesn't know what detransitioner is, somehow, detransitioner is the term given to those who have gone through with this whole with the whole sex change thing, or they have mutilated themselves in an attempt to emulate a sex opposite the one that they have, the opposite sex. So they've done that, and now they want to go back. That's basically what a detransitioner is. And a detransitioner Bill of Rights, that it's an opinion piece. That's I've never heard of such a thing. So the United States are considering the Detransitioner Bill of Rights as a model of legislation proposed by medical nonprofit Do No Harm. The blueprint was written in order to address the many teens who have openly admitted that they wish they would not have transitioned from their biological gender. The legislation would effectively provide assistance to individuals seeking a detransition and would additionally leave room for victims to bring lawsuits against those who pressure them into the mutilation of their bodies. Medical professionals should publicly acknowledge the plight of detransitioners and research ways to help and support those who regret undergoing these procedures, Dr. Stanley Goldfarb of Do No Harm stated. A crucial step in protecting the rights and well-being of children who have been subjected to experimental sex change treatments. The legislation sheds light on a multitude of consequences that come from transitioning, affirming that states have a compelling government interest in protecting the health and safety of its citizens, especially vulnerable children and adolescents. Any healthcare professional or physician who provides a minor with a gender transition procedure is strictly liable to that minor if the treatment results in any injury, including physical, psychological, emotional, or physiological harms within the next 25 years. The model legislation reads. Okay, so let's stop it there. Um, so yeah, that's pretty deep. A detransitioner Bill of Rights, that sounds like a great idea. I was unsure what they meant by Bill of Rights. Like I understand what it means in the broader sense, like for America, but I didn't know what it means in terms of detransitioners. But this is the type of shit that needs to happen like yesterday. Like let's go back through this shit. What did it say? A crucial step in protecting the rights and well-being of children who have been subjected to experimental sex change treatments. Hell yeah. People do regret undergoing these procedures, you know? So like to be sitting here talking about we got to do things to protect trans kids and all this shit, like there's no such thing as trans kids. What you're doing is destroying the future of these children. You're destroying their future. Like you're actually taking real life actions to destroy, to obliterate, annihilate, fucking just completely wipe out their future with this shit. With this whole it just destroys the natural development of a mind. Like a mind is not supposed to be thinking men can be women and women can be men. It's like it was one thing when it was just a you know mental illness. Like some people born that way, yeah. But like now people aren't being born that way. People are being like built that way. So like when you confuse people from a young age and you surround them with this environment where they see all this shit like practically working, and air quotes practically, but when you see this shit happening and that's all you know because your mind is infantile, like you have no frame of reference in the sense of in life. You see all that shit now, you've bred a mental illness to do things what they call experimental sex change treatments. Shit is experimental. We don't know how this works because it's relatively new. And they can spew all the shit that's talking about, oh, well, the Egyptians did this and blah, blah. I don't give a flying ass fuck what the Egyptians did, my nigga. I don't. I really don't. I know what your ass is doing. And it's criminal. If you want to do this shit, it's criminal. That's why we need things like a detransitioner Bill of Rights, because there should be some justice. There should be a consequence for these motherfucking sick ass doctors, these misfits, these fucking outliers, weirdos wanting to do this type of shit, not knowing how to play out, validating the delusions of vulnerable people. So yeah, you deserve some type of justice for that. It deserves to be some kind of fucking consequence for that shit. Abso-fucking-lutely. And arguing anything otherwise is just outright absurd. I couldn't be more grateful for the 22 states that have banned or restricted gender transition procedures for minors. I've testified in many state legislatures, and I hope more states will act, stated Chloe Cole. Whoa. Y'all saw that? Y'all saw what just happened to me? They just took my shit from me. Can't believe that. All right, let's get reoriented here. Hang on. That was rather traumatizing. What's going on? Okay, see. They broke my shit. Now I gotta redo the thing. I gotta fucking do the stuff and junk to get it back like how fucking, Okay, we were not talking about that. That's way down there. Blah, 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 blah. Where are we at here? Okay. So we just put this back up because this is the end of it. Okay. I couldn't be more grateful for the 22 states that have banned or restricted gender transition procedures for minors. I testified in many state legislatures, and I hope more states will act, stated Chloe Cole, a detransitioner who travels to speak on the issue. Yet many state lawmakers have also asked me what the next step is. My answer is simple. Now it's time to protect the rights of detransitioners like me and countless others who've had their bodies altered and lives ruined. The Detransitioner Bill of Rights is a significant step towards helping young people who've been funneled towards treatments that can lead to lifelong suffering. Do no harm, Executive Director Christina Rasmussen Press. We cannot remain passive while the well-being and rights of children are at risk, and that is 100% true. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. Like anybody who looks at children as some type of scourge or have like a negative connotation or a negative outlook on children is a person you should avoid. That person is dangerous. That person is evil. That person is destructive. It's one thing to just not want kids. Like, I'm not talking about that. Like, if you just don't want kids, fine. But to like actively want to demonize and ruin their lives under the guise of care and concern and love and understanding and empathy and all that kind of shit, that's evil. It's not okay. It's fucking horrifying to even think like there's people out there that want to do this kind of shit to your children. Like, there's people out there that literally want to corrupt their minds and turn them into sex ghouls. Into fucking sex ghouls. Like, why do you need to put drag queens in front of children? Shit like that. Like, what the fuck? Like, that shit is not integral. Has never been integral in the development of any child of any species anywhere, ever. That, talk about social construct. Huh, bitch, that's a social construct. Fuck you mean? Like, stories like this need more attention. Because there's people out there actively denying that there are detransitioners or that there are people that regret it. I think I read something in a few episodes ago, where it was basically saying like how to measure regret. Like, people talking about how much did they regret their transition, and it's like, so after all these people, none of them are like, yeah, you can't. That experiment is kind of null. Like, you can't. Anybody can tell you anything. Like, we can't validate the integrity of that regret. So like, that's really a useless study. That shit means nothing, But it's obviously people that do. Why would they be making a detransitioner Bill of Rights if nobody regretted it? If there was no regret associated with this, like, you are leading these people to believe there's something that they aren't, and ignoring things where, like, if you just let them if you help them through this process, things will tend to straighten themselves out on their own. These will probably just end up being gay individuals, which is fine. Like if they're gay, then they're gay. Like, okay, whatever. But to like walk a motherfucker down that path and then have a motherfucker age into maturity, into life, and see how this shit really is. Like you will eventually either be brainwashed or you will put two and two together that you've been lied to. Like somebody blowing smoke up your ass. Like this shit don't vibe. This shit don't click in the real world. You can't be doing this shit in the real world and expecting nobody to say shit about it. Like that's absurd. That's patently absurd. That's stupid. Like motherfuckers see what's happening, bro. Like and things like this, things of this nature tend to happen in like a slippery slope kind of fashion. It starts out with one small concession, like you, okay, like, well, all right, well, we'll let you do this. If the boy wants to wear the dress, and let him wear the dress. Oh, if he wants to wear the wig while he's wearing the dress, but you can't. You got to be wearing them both. You got to be wearing the dress and the wig. No wig alone, no dress alone. Blah blah. Okay, well, if you want to wear a bra too, like, but you got to wear the bra with wig and the dress, and it just next thing you know. Well, if you want to wear red lipstick while you're when you're going out with your homegirls, and there's no semblance of the initial standard that was because you let that shit bend too much. Like if you bend it, if you don't bend but don't break. If you bend it, you have to bend it back. You can't just bend it and keep bending and keep bending and keep bending. You bend it and bend it back. If you get like a metal rod or something and you bend that shit, it's straight and you bend it, you can bend it back and it'll be smooth. But if you keep fucking bending it like a paper clip, that bitch will snap at the point where you kept bending it. Like that shit weakens it. And then eventually there's nothing. Yeah, I just got two pieces of metal now instead of one. And whatever that shit, whatever support that could have provided is now limited because the structural integrity is now compromised, which is pretty much what's happening to the culture in America. The structural integrity is fucking compromised, which is why we need Detransitioner BIll of Rights to protect people from predatory, creepy ass, fucking mentally disturbed and deranged ass fucking doctors, hacks, fucking sinister, maleficent quacks. That's what the fuck they is. So I sincerely hope that this could get some more attention. I hope that it can come, that more awareness could get out about this because it's a common sense thing. It's a common sense thing, and if people don't, it's just like when people tell women, like, if you don't say something about it when it's happening, nobody's gonna take you seriously. Like, you can't start talking about this shit 20 years from now. Yeah, you have to take the risk that it might scar your reputation permanently, but at least you can sleep at night knowing that you did the right fucking thing and you didn't bow out from doing the right thing. Like, your integrity is intact still. All right, let's keep this going. Putting an end to the pronoun game, courtesy of Past Chronicles. Pentagon reverses gender pronoun policy amid mounting criticism. Finally, I think it's finally starting to become like an obvious mainstream thing that this shit is ridiculous. Like we can still, you can still be you without us having to like play ball too. Like, we all don't have to be tennis players just because you a fucking tennis player. Like, you know, you don't have to drag us into the mix per se. Like, we good. We Gucci over here. So yeah, let's check this out. Here we go. All right, so this is a slide. No, I said I wasn't gonna do slides no more, but like, this headline was a little bit too juicy, so I compromised here. But you see, you got the picture here. Like, look at the guy. He's like all the serious fucking white dude with the military haircut. Like, you can tell he beats his wife. Putting an end to the pronoun game. Pentagon reverses gender pronoun policy amid mounting criticism. I'm going to try to read this in my cool voice. The Pentagon recently retracted a directive that demanded the exclusive use of gender-neutral pronouns in specific award citations. This policy reversal followed significant public and political reaction. Initially, the gender-neutral pronouns rule was quietly introduced, but it stirred controversy, leading to its prompt review. The unfolding of these events presents a significant episode in the ongoing discourse around gender identity and language in official domains. So yeah, to touch on that shit, like it's obviously we really don't need this shit in any form of government leadership. Like anything that's a leadership position literally has no room for this shit. Like just how it's called the pronoun game. Like we're not playing games. I've been saying this shit a long time ago. Like the conversation needs to stop. Like it's not about like trying to reach a resolution. Okay, so well, what can we give you guys so you'll be happy? Like no, this shit needs to stop. Like this is not. We're not doing this. Like playing the game means you gotta obey some rules. Like, you can't really have a game without some type of rules, which like prevent exploitation, like foster competitive like competition. Like it's got to be some rules. So like the rules you suggested are bogus. Them bitches is nonsense. And we ain't with the shits. We ain't with the shits, bro. Not at all. The initiation of Change 6. On September 19th, the Pentagon introduced Change 6, a modification to the Manual of Military Decorations and Awards that mandated gender-neutral pronouns for 6 joint awards. This adjustment was not widely publicized initially, but was later revealed by the Heritage Foundation, triggering a series of reactions from various quarters. The mandate affected the language used in official military award citations. I'm going to go back to reading my cool voice because I think it sounded better in hindsight. Yeah, why is this necessary? Like, do you really want a general or a fucking major in the army or some shit over here worried about like, listen here, buddy, you better use my pronouns or you'll be scrubbing the latrines. Like, the fuck? Bro, you supposed to be a wise, composed, hardened, masculine figure. You're supposed to visibly demonstrate strength and authority and power at all times. And this is the kind of shit you talking about? Pronouns? Pronoun language, nigga? The fuck? Like, you know, better use my that's Mrs. Major General Corporal Captain. Like, no, we don't have time for that shit at all. The Heritage Foundation uncovered that award citations, including that of General Mark Milley, were revised to comply with the new pronoun usage. The change required the use of themself instead of gender-specific pronouns. Awards, including the Defense Distinguished Service Medal and the Joint Service Commendation Medal, came under the ambit of this modification, indicating a significant shift in language protocol. Now, before I comment on this, I have to do this because I'm not the type of nigga that like to read words that I don't know what they mean and I've never seen before. And if I don't look this word up now, I'll probably forget it and I'll probably never see it again because I haven't seen it until now. Hey Siri, what's the definition of the word ambit? No, that's incorrect. That's not ambi, ambit, you bitch. The scope, extent, or bounds of something. I love learning new words, man. This shit is always fun. It helps. It's a verbal martial art, man. Like I got like a 10th degree black belt in this shit. So yeah, in regards to this, General Mark Milley, or citations were revised to comply with the new pronoun usage. So we got a general in the army that wanted to be referred to as themself instead of gender specific pronouns, and that's he or she. You know, This is that non-binary shit. So we got a non-binary general. Like, why? What? Shit's stupid. Dumb. I don't want a non-binary general. Like, I don't like if that's who you are, be yourself outside of the military. Like, leave the military. Leave a position for somebody that knows he's a he, understands the gravity and the duty that they have to the country and being in the military, and get the fuck out the way. Move, nigga. Just move. Ain't got time for this childish ass shit, bro. You ever talking about they themselves, noun self pronoun? Fuck off. Not playing. It's a game. Not playing it. Not playing it. It's not even fun. It's not competitive. It's not engaging. It's draining. It's distracting, and it's useless. It only matters to the community that embraces that shit. Like, if you want to be that in your personal life, can't nobody stop you from doing that. But if you're going to enter the professional realm, if you're going to enter society and shit and be a part of the grand scheme of things, a contributing member, then while you on that duty, we ain't got time for this shit, bro. This some personal life shit. Y'all niggas trying to integrate into center stage. And it's too much. The stage cannot accommodate all of this shit. Especially not center stage. Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, along with other lawmakers, expressed skepticism towards the new mandate. On September 8th, he wrote to the Pentagon seeking clarification. I forgot to do the voice. The sudden language adjustment wasn't received well in some circles, causing a stir in the political and social landscape. Senator Cotton's scrutiny of the change marked a critical point in the unfolding scenario. I mean, the sudden language adjustment wasn't received well. Why do they have to say in some circles? Like, they should know that this is not going to be received well. Like, we were talking about, it wasn't really well received by conservatives and people who are armed with objective truth. Like, what? Next slide. The Pentagon responds. Following the backlash, the Department of Defense issued a comment clarifying that award citations could revert to using himself or herself. This move marked a significant rollback of the initial directive. The policy's adaptability demonstrated the Pentagon's responsiveness to public and political sentiment, further emphasizing the sensitive nature of the intersection between language and gender identity. And public and political sentiment, I think it's when it comes to public, like, people just want to do what's work. People want to do what makes sense. Like, we've all been using he and she and people ain't theys and thems, and the shit's worked fine. It's worked fine for a very long time. And like at when you're the Pentagon, when you are like the headquarters of national defense, there is no room for that shit. It's just, there is no real estate for all this shit to matter. They got important, pressing issues, daily, intelligence, all kind of shit, world affairs. We got me time to worry about no motherfucking pronouns, nigga. Fuck, bro. That shit's, we don't have time for it. There's just not time. If we were to quantify and put on a hierarchy of all our priorities, if we were to like make a hierarchy of all of our priorities, once we got that shit sorted out, then we could talk about that. And it's already 24 hours in a day worth of shit. Like, it's 30 hours worth of shit for every 24-hour day. And so it's like, you don't even have, like, you're not even an elective. We don't have time for that shit. It's just not, it's not important. It's not relevant at the Pentagon. Social media reaction. Social media users voiced their reactions to the Pentagon's pronoun policy. The change in its rapid reversal sparked a wide array of comments. Some applauded the withdrawal of the gender-neutral directive, while others dissected the implications of such a policy on the broader military environment. Well, I already think this kind of text is useless to say, like, some people said they liked it and some people said they didn't. Like, I hate that about these fucking slides. Like, it's a waste of a slide. Just go right into the reactions. Just say some did this, some applauded, some dissected. Like, duh. If you didn't, it wouldn't be controversial. Stop wasting my time. For fuck's sake. Conversations on social media platforms displayed a mix of support and opposition to the pronoun change. Some individuals were quite expressive about returning to traditional pronoun usage in their official military communications. These online dialogues mirror the broader societal discourse, highlighting the complex and multifaceted nature of discussions surrounding gender pronouns and their place in formal settings. Okay, returning to traditional pronoun usage. They switched that shit for all of a week. It's not a return. Like, it just shit. It was a hiccup in the system, not a return. Like, the fuck? Traditional pronoun usage? You mean pronoun usage? This shit ain't traditional. That's what it is. To my traditional pronoun usage. Like, no, this is actual regular pronoun usage. They's the ones that's on that phony shit. Oh, I'm just reading this. Okay, yeah, I'm just not. You see this? Like, what's relevant about these two sentences? Why does this need a whole picture? What the fuck do they got up here? Got some goddamn. Oh man. Oh yeah, it was crucial. We had to put that sentence in there so we could attach this picture of our troops being deployed somewhere. Like, yeah, man, we really needed that, bro. So impactful to the conversation. Military recruitment concerns, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. The reversals implications marks the end of this particular episode. However, it also stresses the importance of continual dialogue about evolving topics like language, gender, and institutional policy in their intersections. Yep. So, there's no need for a continual dialogue. Like I said, they're not playing the game anymore. While this chapter concerning the Pentagon's pronoun policy has concluded, it's evident that discussions about language, identity, and policy will continue to evolve. I don't know. Evolve for who? Like, certain, like, the language evolves, sure, but this is not an evolution. This is a derivative. This is not an evolution. There's no ongoing conversation. Like, it is what it is. The conversation ended when the words began that started conversation. Like, this ain't shit about this ongoing. It's ongoing for y'all because y'all can't let it go. Y'all can't get over it. So yeah, it might be ongoing and y'all are feeble ass heads, but in the grand scheme, this shit ain't ongoing. Both the Pentagon and the public will undoubtedly engage more dialogues about similar topics in the future, reflecting the dynamic nature of societal issues. Waste of a slide. So yeah, like I said in the beginning, I just grabbed this shit for the headline. Like, I hate these slides. It had some meat in the beginning, but it lost steam rapidly. Like you just opened the sauna door and didn't close that bitch back. Like, all the steam's gone. There's no humidity in that bitch. Now it's just hot as fuck. Now it's just 200 degrees for no reason. All humidity just is escaped. The shit's pointless. Ongoing conversation. Like, I guess it is an ongoing conversation because I keep talking about it too. But I'm only talking about it because you guys are talking about it. As soon as you guys shut the fuck up, I'll be on to the next pressing issue. Like, I ain't know this pronoun shit has long since been effectively debunked. This shit ain't active. There's he's and there's she. Ain't no theys and thems. Ain't no leaf self and they self and anti-disestablishmentarianism self. Like, all that shit is dead. Ain't none of that. Ain't no banana self. Ain't no goddamn wood self. Box self. Shape self. Leaf, clover self. Get the fuck on, man. Y'all sound like babbling idiots. Blidiots. Fuck we ought to call y'all ass. Y'all some blidiots that need to be obliterated. This whole topic need to be obliterated. About both the Pentagon and the public will undoubtedly engage in more dialogues about similar. No, we're not. We're gonna be talking about similar topics like national security, looking at border security, shit like that. Not over here talking about somebody else's confusion regarding themselves. Not important. That's important to you. I mean, it's important when we referencing you. That's important in your front yard. But that's why you have a front yard. That's why you put a fence around your shit, because that's what's yours to deal with. What's within my fence is my shit to deal with, and your shit ain't within my fence. So deal with your shit. That's the show. Thanks for watching as always. Thanks for listening. Until next time, I will see y'all. Adios, amigos.